Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ravikishore, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Aditya University. Coming to this particular learning outcomes, so at the end of the course, student will be able to learn the exception handling introduction and its scope. Okay, and coming to the first, coming to this overview of the exceptions. So exception tend to be about the problems that come up at the runtime as opposed to the compile time. So this particular, the compiler will require that you deal with the handle the exception. That means, for example, if you are going to get some errors, in what way these errors are to be handled? In what way the errors are to be handled? So that is what we are going to learn in this exception handling concept. Is there any compile time exception, or is there any runtime exception, or in what way that you are going to clear or overcome the corresponding error is the point over here. So for that, in the Java we have very beautiful concept, that is exception handling. Exception handling is the concept in the Java in which we are going to cover, or we are going to have the corresponding exceptions which are raised can be easily overcome. So here the compiler does not care how you take care of or handle the exception, because the compiler itself is going to be not taking care of any type of things. It only cares that you are aware of the possibility that an exception can occur and intend to deal with appropriately. That means, for example, we have many type of errors. Which error causes what? What is the particular situation? In what way the error or the thing has to be handled? For example, I will give you one real-time example. If you have some fever, you go to a shop and you will ask them, "Sir, I am suffering with fever. Can you give me a tablet for it?" He has to give the corresponding tablet for recovering you from the illness, because you have mentioned what you have mentioned. Okay, sir, I am suffering with so and so disease. Please get me the tablet of it. In the same way, you need to know what type of error it is, in what way you need to rectify it is. Clear? So this rectification can be easily handled through this exception handling, and you are going to spend much more time in handling these exceptions that you are creating them. And in the Java, there are lot of things that is there in the exceptions. Some are automatically done, or some are easily that they can be overcome, or some are done by the user itself. Okay, and coming to this particular exception handling thing example, if you take it. In our previous class that we have seen try and catch block. What try and catch? Try and catch blocks are 2 exception handlers. Total we have 5 exception handlers. Exception handler mean I am going to handle the exception. Just for example, in your class, if I ask you, who will give the seminar tomorrow? Some people will say, "Sir, I can handle the seminar tomorrow." Okay, he is an handler to handle the seminar in the class. In the same way, to handle the exception, you need to use some keywords, or we can call them as exception handlers. In that way, we have try, catch, finally, throw, throws. 5 exception handlers that is there. 5 exception handlers. And each and every exception handling is having some speciality. If you take the try and catch blocks, these two are friends. They cannot live leaving one out of other. When there is a try, catch must be there. When there is a particular thing, always it should be there. So try always write the just try, opening of the brace, closing of the brace. This is a particular syntax of try. And catch, catch, exception, object, statements. And within this try, what we are going to write? What type of situation or what type of code that is to generate the exception, where that we are going to expect that there will be a chance of getting an error. Sir, I am expecting this particular 2 lines that I am going to expect that there may be some error. In that particular manner, I am going to put that complete statements in the try block. Here we can write it as a code to generate an exception. Code to generate an exception. Immediately after that, you need to write the catch block. Catch block means statement. What type of thing? What type of statement that is I need to put, that you are going to write it in the catch block. Clear? So these are the 2 exception handlers in first. After that, we will go for the very good examples in our coming things. So this is an exception handler example with try and catch block. Try means code to generate an exception. Catch block means it is going to give the statement like what to do and what not to do. Okay. And coming to the example, another example, we have an API for the file reader constructor. So public file reader string file, it throws the file not found exception. This is also one of the thing. For example, I can give you an example for this particular statement. I am going to save the file name as xyz.java. xyz.java. And I am going to request to get the data from the, for example, abc.java. My file name is xyz. I am going to fetch the information from abc. When this comes, because I want to get the input from the abc, but this file is not there in the particular system. But I am giving as an input, that is abc.java or abc.txt. Just see, if I am going to fetch like this, at the time I am going to raise one exception and it was named as file not found exception. You are doing something extra, that you have saved your file name with the xyz.java, but you are fetching as abc.java. It is not there in the system itself. Please look after this. It means it is going to give the statement like this. Okay. And coming to the point of all the robust programming, because the Java is the only programming which has both the compile time error checking and as well as the runtime error checking possibility. So this compile time error checking and the runtime error checking possibility, that's why the Java is having one thing called, it is a robust language. And it is also one of the feature that we have discussed in the features of Java. And this objective of this programming is to write fault tolerance or robust code. So that is what we want, write the programs in the problems that may arise, the program continues to run. Good exception handling is one of the more effective methods of making your code fault tolerant and robust. Okay, and coming to the separate error handling logic from the programming language. So here we have the error handling concept, that is the main purpose, where to enclose your code and where that you can get the corresponding programming language. So here we have to spend the amount of the time during this error checking operations. For example, if you are going to give a correct input, you are going to get the correct output. If you are giving a wrong input, the output will be reflected in a wrong manner. In order to verify those things, that means there is a special thing, that is error handling in Java, which can be used with this exception handling things. And coming to this exception, an occurrence of an undesired situation that can be detected during the program, or I can say that abnormal termination of a program. Suppose division by 0, is it possible? No, it gives to the infinity. At the time the exception occurs. Try to open an input file that does not exist, what I discussed just now. Is it possible? No, at the time exception occurs. An array index that goes out of bounds, I am going to give the error size as 5, but I am giving only 3, or I am giving 10. The error rating will be high or low, I am not giving exactly. At the time this exception raises. In this way, the abnormal termination of a program that can be easily handled through this exception handling. That is what the example that they have given over there. Okay, and coming to the Java mechanism of exception handling. So when this particular exception occurs, an object is initiated automatically. That data type exception is generated depends upon surprising of reason of the things, and as well what type of exception that we are going to be handled is to be known. For example, if you see this example, Java arithmetic exception, that means this particular arithmetic exception is there, or this arithmetic exception is carried out only with the arithmetic operators. If anything that was done, for example, divisible by 0 is not possible, it is an arithmetic exception. Okay, in this way the mechanism would be. And coming to this particular thing, so we have some scanner object and we have some nextend. These are all the different statements that is there in the exception. Class input mismatch exceptions, or we have different type of class not found exception, we have an SQL form exceptions. These are all the different exceptions that is present in this Java mechanism. So we have not been required to place the nextend method inside the try block, because the reason is some types of exception must be placed inside a try block while other are optional. Okay, so this is what the thing that we can see. And coming to this scanner class object, so here just see code to generate exception that I have written in this, and this is a catch block exception that I have written in this. I am expecting that A is equal to console.next, what I have given here, that there may be a chance of raising the exception. If it raises, what we need to do? I need to give the statements like this. For example, A is equal to console.text. For example, if I am going to give the age as minus 10 years, is the minus 10 years age available? No. At the time, what it has to do? It has to print, or it has to go to this corresponding catch block. What it has to go? Arre Baba, error in reading the input. You have given a wrong input. Set the age to the minus values. Please change it to the positive values. In that way, that you are going to give the information in the catch block. Okay. And coming to the scope of this particular exceptions, any variables or object, etc. are declared in the try block is local to that particular block. and while outside of the try block is when it is to be done, or inside the catch block, those items will be no longer in the scope. That is what the thing is. So, you will often need to declare the things before entering into the try block. You should be expect, okay, this may be happen. This lines that I may expect as a getting some error. And particular the console is also we can see it as an example for this, okay. So, the particular exception in the Java, it is going to handle the and it is going to catch the corresponding exception, and we have different block of codes, and automatically it is going to initiate the object and it is going to write the corresponding example also. And at the end of this corresponding topic, the student learn the basics of exception and its scope. Okay, thank you.